From a life on your own to a family of your own. From small passions to huge successes. From the saddest endings to happier beginnings. From walking her to school to walking her down the aisle. Whatever change, one thing that's constant is home. Celebrating 30 years of life moments. Avita.
Sending money back home is expensive, slow, and time-consuming. Not anymore. Introducing Denari Cash. Denari Cash solves this in a simple way. Denari Cash don't send money across border. Yes, you heard it right. So, you want to know how do we send money internationally without sending across the border? Simple. You make a local payment to Denari Cash, and Denari Cash makes a local payment to your recipient. That's right, it's local in then local out. From any account to any cash pickup and major bank account. That's the reason why Denari Cash makes money transfers so much cheaper and faster. Available on any mobile, tablet, and computer. Denari Cash is trusted and loved by tens of thousands of people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now and start saving now with Denari Cash.
Kamusta naman kayo dyan, guys? We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And this episode will also be available sa aking Pera and Purpose podcast on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. By the way, sa mga bago dito sa aking program, this is a weekly show where I interview entrepreneurs, personal finance personalities, and purpose-driven individuals from different parts of the world to talk about their stories and mindset to help you prosper with a purpose. So huge shout out sa ating viewers out there. We have 37 million or thousands who are viewing this tonight. Yan, 40 na sila. So thank you so much for being here. And alam ko, very special ang ating guest this evening. Siyang kauna-una natin nag-repeat audience or repeat guest kasi nga he is one of my closest friends and one of the influential people ngayon sa social media. Grabe. Kasi nga, napansin nyo ba na kaya tayo nag-struggle sa ating finances is because or baka probably hindi rin natin alam ang value natin bilang tao. Kaya we just let other people dictate our lives and go with the flow. So, ang guest natin tonight is a man who is advocating self-worth since day one. And part of the things that we will be discussing tonight is the importance of knowing your worth, how you can begin your journey towards loving yourself, the common misconceptions about self-worth, and how you can value yourself or how your value yourself directly impact your finances. So, tonight, malalaman natin why self-worth is good for your net worth. Ayan. So, introduce natin ang ating guest. He is a rockstar vlogger, 2019 Filipino Times Media Personality of the Year, the founder of RTD Vlogging Academy, none other than Mr. Real Talk Darbs! Kamusta, boy? How are you?
Darbs, back at it again with another Facebook Live. Thank you very much, Kuya Jay. Dito na naman tayo ngayon sa ating next episode. Finance Fridays. Grabe naman. Buti naman hindi Finance Monday kasi hindi siya magka-rhyme.
Oo nga. Lalagyan natin ng Monday natin soon, boy. Meron tayong project for Monday. So by the way sabihin mo natin sa ating viewers tonight na meron tayong mga giveaways for those who will participate sa ating program. So ilagay niyo lang, i-like and share niyo itong live natin with Real Talk Darbs. And then hashtag. Ito na yung may merch na ako, boy. Hinintay, talagang pinatapos ko to sa araw ng second guesting mo. So i-hashtag natin. After 2 years. Hindi ko magana yung audio mo.
So
wala ba? Hindi lang ang prosper with a purpose and tag one friend. Oo, wala yung sound effects mo, boy. So
as in, wala yung sound effects ko.
Oo, sayang. Okay lang yan. Turo mo na lang din sa akin yan later on. So i-view mo na, i-ano natin ang ating guest tonight. Greet mo natin sila. So Heidi, shout out. Lagi nandiyan yan. PC Fam. Yan. Coach G, I think nag-attend siya sa RTDVA mo.
Ay, Coach G, what's up? Of course.
Yes. Yan. Ayan na si Madam Kring, nag-hashtag siya si Ella. Ayan
okay na ata yung audio ko, bro.
Okay na. Try mo. Yun! Ayun na yung sound effects natin.
Yan na. Okay, sige.
Ito na si Matthew. Ayan, let's go!
Okay, let's go.
Si Joyce, si Karim, and I know you, brother, is so busy this evening. Not just this evening, but mula nung dumating ka sa Dubai. And wala nang masyadong intro. Diretso na tayo sa ating katanungan. Since ang topic natin tonight is ano nangyayari dyan?
Bakit? Okay ba?
Okay na ba yung mo? Okay na yung audio mo? Ayan, okay na. Okay naman. Okay na yan. Okay, sige. So RTD, Kuya Darbs, how do you define self-worth ba? Ano ba ang definition mo ng self-worth?
Well, that's a very good question because I don't know. Joke lang. Parang tanga, no? Self-worth is the alam definition. Well, basically, self-worth is basically knowing your value as an individual. Most of the time kasi sinasabi nila, do I have to find my self-worth? Dapat ko bang hanapin ang self-worth ko? And that was the misconception that I had previously. I thought that self-worth should be found or dapat hinahanap. Pero later on, as time goes by, I realized that it was never lost in the first place. It's just that, like, say for example, ikaw ba, bilang isang tao, hahanapin mo ba yung katawan mo, your body? Of course not. You already have a body, right? So, same is true with self-worth. The fact of the matter is you're still alive right now. It means that you still have self-worth. The question is it strong or not? So yun lang. There are people who has a very sense of self-worth, and there are a lot of people who has a very weak sense of self-worth. And that is what most people needs to understand, that self-worth needs to be developed. It's just like a muscle, just like a body. May katawan ka, pero hindi lahat ng katawan malakas. At hindi lahat ng taong may self-worth are strong sense of self-worth. So basically, that is the reason why I'm on a mission to spread the message, to let everybody know how to strengthen that self-worth. And one of the ways for you to do that is to actually be self-aware that you are or you don't have a strong sense of self-worth. Right? Kuya Jay? Chubby ka, Kuya Jay. Bakit ganon? Nagiging chubby si Kuya Jay, ah. Okay ka ba, Kuya Jay? Ay, nagiging chubby si Kuya Jay. So, basically, as what I have mentioned, my friends, sa lahat po ng mga nanonood dyan, kay Cloudy, thank you very much for watching. Kay Ellen, kay Johanna, and of course, kay Jason, thank you very much for watching. Ah. Yan, thank you na wala kang audio.
Okay na.
Okay na. Yan na. Okay na.
At kaya niya mag-impromptu.
Sana all born and bred tayo dyan. Kaya natin yan, boy. Kahit isang oras kang mawala. Gusto mo, magkape ka muna eh.
Oo, pwede pa ako magkape.
CR ka muna.
Ang ganda ng definition ng self-worth kasi nga, di ba, karamihan ng tao sinasabi, hahanapin ko yung self-worth ko kasi baka nandyan lang yan sa tabi-tabi. Kaya nga,
actually, hindi.
Sige. Ano mo
hindi
yan.
Dapat hinahanap. Kasi nandyan na yun.
Mahina lang. It's always been there inside of you. You just need to know na mababa lang yung self-worth and you have to develop it. Like what you said. Grabe. Okay. So, pero ito, i-tour mo naman kami back down to memory lane. Paano ba nag-start yung journey mo towards self-worth? Paano mo nalaman na, shucks, kailangan ko palang i-develop tong self-worth ko?
Well, to be honest with you, when most people are asking me, bakit Kuya Darbs, ang dami mong alam? Bakit ang dami ko daw hugot? Well, my friends, this is not just wisdom. This is me being able to experience the kind of pain I'm trying to alleviate you of. I don't think that I will have the conviction to give you those advices if I myself did not walk that path. So my friends, yes, I was also once in your situation where really almost non-existent ang self-worth. And I realized at that time na it's a very difficult place to be in. Bakit? Kasi may mga pagkakataon sa buhay na you could have just walked away from the person who treated you. You're not supposed to be treated that way. The person who cheated on you, the person who's not supposed to treat you the way you're not supposed to be treated. But then again, most people stay in that kind of relationship not because they love that person. Okay, fine. They try to mask that reason na okay, kasi mahal ko siya kaya hindi ko kayang mawala siya. Pero most of the time, it's also self-directed eh. We cannot walk away from a toxic relationship because we don't know or we don't trust ourselves to be okay after walking away. Kasi most of the time, kala natin yung tao lang na yun, although the toxicity of this person is giving us is so much, we don't trust ourselves to be able to be with someone who's better than the person that we are with. Kasi masyadong mababa ang value natin sa sarili natin na sa tingin natin, we're already with the best.
Okay.
Kasi like, if you think about it, if you really know your value, and someone offers you way lower value than your actual value is, would you say yes to that offer? Of course not. You'd be with someone who knows your value more. Like a bag of diamonds. Like, would you be willing for someone to just give you 500,000 pesos for that? Well, if you don't know your value, you'd say yes. And you think that there's no other people who's willing to give me 500,000 because 500,000 pesos is really a huge money. But if you think about it, if you really know your value, even the one piece of diamond, which is mas madami ka pa doon sa bag, is even worth more than 500 pesos. So that is the reason as to why most people stay on a specific relationship, specific situation, specific job, you could say. It's because they don't really realize their value first, their self-worth. And that is my mission, to let you know, ikaw na nanonood ngayon, that yes, my friend, you are valuable. and you're someone who's worthy to be treated the way you're supposed to be treated. And that has been my mantra, my mission ever since. Ganon.
So yung palang hugot ni Tito Darb sa
Yes,
relationships. And well, oftentimes kasi talaga no, tama yung sinabi mo na yung value natin nakadepende sa ibang tao eh. And hindi natin nakikita yung sarili nating worth kasi nga akala natin. Kaya nga akala natin, 'di ba, the other person will complete us. So naging relationship na yung talks natin. Pero hindi lang naman ito about romantic relationships, but also it also applies sa relationship mo with your office mate, na yung value mo nakadepende sa boss mo o kaya nakadepende dun sa kasama mo sa work na hindi mo kayang gawin yung isang bagay kasi nga alam mo na mas valuable yung isang tao and parang yung tingin mo sarili mo is not as good as the others. So, dito naman sa'yo, Tito Darbs, paano mo ba malalaman o kaya is there a sign na kailangan ko na i-value yung sarili ko more than before? Or wala, parang kailangan mo lang siyang i-accept na siguro kailangan ko lang mag-improve or what? Meron bang mga ganun situation or paano yun?
Naman. Like, if you really find yourself going back to a toxic situation, toxic relationship, toxic boss, toxic partner, toxic friends, I think part of the reason why you always go back is because you think you don't have any other option. Listen, this is not me trying to tell you that there will always be a better option because there will always be a better one. And that I'm not promoting you even if you're in a relationship na konting pagkakamali lang ng partner mo, dapat umalis ka na agad. You have to really know that toxicity level that you should not be bearing or dapat you're not tolerating. There is supposed to be that level that you're not tolerating. And if you find that level, and most of the time, ang toxicity level natin is so high that it's very dangerous to our health. You get what I'm saying? In that, we have to be aware as well. Kasi minsan yung mga taong nakapalibot sa atin, like people who's just telling negative things, we don't usually notice that eh. Pero you're supposed to distance yourself from people who always talk about people as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because most of the time, that's what's happening. And you have to understand that ikaw, as an individual, should like have the responsibility sa sarili mo to surround yourself with people that pushes you upward. And that should be the main goal for you to know if this relationship that I am in, be it romantic, be it friendship, be it corporate, is it really pushing you to a place where you wanted to go? And if it's not, I think that is the time for you to realize that this is not the place you're supposed to be. Going back to your question, dun mo malalaman eh. Pag na-identify mo yung level ng toxicity na dapat hindi mo tinitake and you always go back to that, that's the time wherein you realize that you might be having a very low sense of self-worth.
Okay. Ang daming sinabi pero napaka-valuable nung response mo na yun, Brad. Kasi alam mo meron dito alam natin sa mga comment section, sa mga nanonood ngayon, may mga tinatamaan like si Heidi na baka may nag-isip na kung anong gagawin sa susunod niyang career or what. So, kaya ang daming nag-anticipate ng live natin na to kasi ikaw ang gusto nilang marinig in terms of self-worth. So, ngayon na, okay, na-realize ko na and na-accept ko na kailangan ko talagang improve yung self-worth ko. What are the initial steps that I have to do? Kasi, alam mo, napaka-uncomfortable ng change. Hindi tayo sanay dyan. And pwede mo i-share yung personal thoughts mo or kung ano yung mga na-encounter mo over this past few years para mas ma-master mo yung or ma-improve mo yung self-worth mo. Once na nagkaroon ng acceptance, kanina you mentioned about the people surrounding you. Ano yun? Binago mo ba sila kaagad? Or nagbasa ka bang libro? Or nag-self-reflect ka? Nag-meditate ka? What steps did you take to improve your self-worth?
Well, first of all, it all follows with self-awareness. You listening to this right now, even if you don't take action tomorrow, the next day, or the next week, as long as you know what I'm trying to tell you, eventually that self-awareness will come into play later on. There will be a specific situation where the things that you learned a few weeks ago kicks in because it makes sense at that specific time that you're in. Maybe ngayon hindi pa kasi wala ka pa sa situation. Pero when the time comes when your girlfriend cheated on you or your boyfriend cheated on you or your boss did not give you the promotion that you need, and so on. And then you realize those things, yung sinabi ni Kuya Darb sa Pera and Purpose podcast ni Kuya Jay, that yeah, I am in a situation where I'm supposed to be walking away from this because this is not my worth. Then that's the time. So, ito how can you actually really, pwede ba akong mag-share ng screen?
Yes, definitely. Gusto ko yan.
Pwede ba yan? Okay, sige.
Share mo lang.
Sige, share natin yung screen ko. Hindi ko lang alam kung makikita. Hindi. Wag na, Jay, kasi nafu-full ako. Hindi ko pala.
Baka may makita kami, hindi namin makaroon.
Yeah, wait lang.
Sige.
Anyway, as what I have been mentioning, how can you really develop high sense of self-worth? Yun ang tanong eh. It's not about finding self-worth because it was never lost in the first place. It's just that you have to strengthen it. The mere fact that you're breathing means that you're still having a sense of self-worth. Ibig sabihin nun, inaalagaan mo pa rin yung sarili mo kahit papano, kaibigan, kasi humihinga ka pa, buhay ka pa. Pero, that doesn't mean that it's supposed to be good na. Kasi minsan, kailangan mo talagang i-strengthen yan. And maraming tao, akong kakilala, lalo na sa mga tao nagpa-follow kay RTD, is that they don't really know the sense of self-worth that they have. Ang hina ng definition nila or ang hina ng self-worth nila. It's not as strong. Kuya Jay, can I share a screen ba?
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
you can share your screen bro. Hindi naman pala, akala ko, feeling ko nasa Zoom ako no? You can share your screen anytime. So habang nag-share si Tito Darbs ng kanyang screen, shoutout muna natin ang ating mga viewers out there. Si Coach Ron is here. Jason is here. Oy, thank you so much for coming back, brother. And Miss Evelyn, as always, maraming salamat sa iyong suporta sa amin ni Tito Darbs. Constant change is self-awareness. Yes! Sabi ni Franz, magandang gabi, Kuya Jay. Magandang gabi rin sa'yo, bro Franz. Maraming salamat for being here. Si Miss Ray or Miss Reyna, ayan, thank you for joining our giveaway mamaya. Ayan, gusto namin yan, Kenski. Kung gusto mo manalo ng RTD merch, follow the hashtag natin. Ayan, okay na, ito na, i-add ko na sa stream bro yung sinishare mo.
Okay ba? Nakikita nyo ba?
Ito na siya.
Nakikita nyo?
Nakikita na namin.
Okay, sige. So basically, this is how you develop high level of self-worth. So first is S. You have to remember this mnemonics, SAS. This is the framework. Ibig sabihin nun, first you have to have self-awareness. That's number 1. Number 2, you have to have acceptance. And number 3, self-love. So I'm not gonna tell you the entirety of things, pero SAS is a way for you to understand and to develop your low sense of self-worth at mapapataas mo yon. You will have a high level of self-worth. Bakit self-awareness? First of all, hindi mo pwedeng baguhin yung sarili mo kung sa tingin mo wala ka dapat bagay na babaguhin. People go to the doctor kasi may signs and symptoms, right? So, if you don't feel bad, you're not gonna go to the doctor. That's why cancer is very dangerous kasi most of the time we just find it out late because there's no symptoms. Otherwise, we would have just may ginawa na sana tayo nun. Now, that's what self-awareness does to us. It lets us understand what is the level of self-worth that we have. Mataas ba? Mababa ba? And there's a lot of ways for you to know that kung paano mo ma-measure yung self-worth by asking following questions such as like you can close your eyes and imagine everything was taken away from you. What would that make you feel? After losing everything, meron pa bang natitira sa aking mahalaga? Now, if you answer these 3 questions and if you think na wala nang natirang mahalaga sa'yo, if you think na wala na, then you have a very low sense of self-worth. But if your answer, my friend, is that meron pa, and that is my family and that is me, then there's a huge chance that you have actually a high level of sense of self-worth. Now, that's one thing. Self-awareness. Doon mo malalaman kung meron ka ba dapat i-improve or okay ka na. Pero it doesn't necessarily mean na kung okay ka na talaga. Then what's next? Acceptance. So, paano yung acceptance na gagawin mo, Kuya Darbs? Well, as what I have always been saying, hindi kasi pwedeng self-awareness lang. Hindi pwedeng isipin lang yung mga bag, pwede mo natanggalin, Jay. Ayan. Okay.
First time natin nag-impromptu. Napaka-impromptu na dito, Darbs, talaga. Hindi ko, wala sa ano natin na mag-share tayo ng screen.
Possible.
Pwede pala mangyari yun.
Okay, so
meron kang framework.
It's not just about self-awareness, it's also about doing something about it. Pero hindi kasi marami kasi nagsasabi, paano ako makakahanap ng self-worth? You just have to love yourself. Hindi pwede yun. Kasi you cannot climb Mount Everest without training. Right? So it's just like saying na you have to love yourself para magkaroon ka ng self-worth. Yes, fine. In order for me to go on top of the mountain, I have to hike. Pero not everybody is equipped in loving themselves right away. So hindi dapat yun yung first step. The first step is self-awareness. Telling yourself that somehow I am someone who doesn't have self-worth actually. Understanding that, telling yourself that, you go to the next phase, which is acceptance. Minsan kasi may mga pagkakataon, may self-awareness na tayo, pero hindi natin ina-accept yung mga bagay. You have to tell yourself.
Yeah.
You have to tell yourself, it is what it is. You know, like, it is what it is. That phrase is very strong and it makes someone very dangerous. Bakit? Because if someone really knows the true words behind this, the true meaning, it is what it is, people who say this are very dangerous because they no longer allow themselves to be affected by things that is already out of their control. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Hindi mo maiiwasang hindi masaktan kasi that's part of life. Pero most people are suffering because they decided to. Bakit? Because they fail to accept the what is. Iniwan ako ng jowa ko, Kuya Darb, hindi ko matanggap. Right? Nawalan ako ng work kasi yung boss ko ganun. The blow has been taken. I mean, you have already been punched in the face. Either you sit down, whine about the pain, at aalagaan mo yon, or you just like spit that tooth that was broken when you got punched and then tell me what's next. So, my friends, acceptance is one of the things that you have to do after self-awareness in order for you to have high sense of self-worth. So, I want you to tell yourself that you accept the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you have to tell yourself that you fully accept every part of you, including your flaws, fears, behaviors, and qualities that even you are not proud of. And this is how I am, and I will be at peace with that. Kasi acceptance on the things that you are not capable of doing, accepting the things that you're flawed from, it is what it is, my friend. Wala ka nang magagawa. Ganun talaga. Pero you cannot go to a high level of self-worth kung wala kang acceptance doon sa mga bagay na hindi mo nagawa. So please, accept those things that you're supposed to accept in the first place before you go to the next level. Ano yung next level, Kuya Darbs? Ang next level, next week ko po sasabihin.
Pabitin.
Of course, self-love. That's the time. Like, self-love. After you accepted your flaws, this is the time that you have to declare love. Mahal ko ako. You have to love yourself. Kasi all this time, you have been given the love to people who doesn't deserve it, and you realize that you're not actually giving the very person that deserves that love in the first place, which is you. Binibigay mo yung pagmamahal doon sa taong hindi deserve, that you forgot that you're supposed to be giving that love to you, ikaw. Self-love. You have to declare that love. And you have to tell yourself that you are worthy and you are capable. That you no longer need to please other people just for you to feel valued. And that, my friend, is how you develop a sense of self-worth.
Ang tindi nung mga steps na yun. SAS. Ang lalim nung iyong hugot, brother. Hugot, definition, and I think hindi na to basta lang, hindi to nakukuha sa libro eh. This is nakukuha sa mga experience sa maraming tao, collective experience, and even experience mo. And yung mga ganyang mga decisions talaga natin can also influence how we decide on how we manage our finances. Kasi kung let's say what you said, no, yung value mo naka-attach sa ibang tao. And para lang ma-feel mo na baka ma-value ka niya, you buy things just to please other people. And oftentimes, parang band-aid solution siya. And the only way for you to truly heal that relationship or magkaroon ka na mas positive na effect sa buhay mo is to, like what you said, yung SAS, to, ano nga yung S?
Self-awareness,
acceptance, and then self-love. Grabe.
Yes, sir.
Ang tindi nun. Ang tindi ng definition na yun. Ang tindi ng acronym na yun. So, mamaya, as we progress to our conversation, we'll also discuss other things like yung mga misconceptions ng mga tao about self-love. But before we continue with the discussion, let's have a quick break. And of course, ang ating episode is always brought to us by Ayala Land.
Ay, Ayala Land lang malakas, ha?
As city living turns more quickly, the need to always be in step with the daily rush has become ever more important. A need that developer Avida Land has chosen to take head-on with their newest development, Avida Towers Verge. Located in Mandaluyong City, Avida Towers Verge gives its residents unparalleled access to key places in the metro. It banners the ideas of access and convergence to make sure that its residents are never too far away from the things that count. Also worth noting is the fact that Mandaluyong is one of the best places at the moment to invest in property, with values continuing to rise due to high consumer demand, making Avida Towers Verge a very worthy investment.
For almost 3 decades, Avida has been providing thoughtfully designed homes in secure communities. And with proximity becoming more and more essential in modern living, they have listened once again with the unmatched location and value proposition of Avida Towers Verge. So now, residents won't ever fear that they are missing out on anything again.
So yun, nakashare na kagad to, wait lang. So again, maraming salamat sa Ayala Middle East for supporting my advocacy on financial literacy. And may office na tayo sa Ticom.
Ay, malakas, ha?
Ang lakas nung ang lakas nung episode mo na ginawa or ng ano ba tawag doon ng clip na ginawa mo for Ayala Land. Grabe.
Yes, of course. And abangan nyo kasi magkakaroon na din po tayo ng segment sa Real Talk Darbs ng Ayala Land. My friend Jay, ang daming gustong kumuha kay Real Talk Darbs ng mga realtor. Pero only Ayala Land touches Real Talk Darbs.
Yeah.
Ayala Land lang malakas. Yan.
Oo, and yung nakita nyong project is yung Verge Tower 2. So kung dito sa Dubai, meron tayong Burj Khalifa, meron tayo sa Mandaluyong na Avida Towers Verge by Ayala Land. And may isa pa tayong, alam mo ba Brad, na meron tayong bagong company dito na tinayo na first Filipino-owned na job site. And this is what we call yung job hunter. Tuloy, Go Hunter. Baka mayari tayo. Ito yung Go Hunter. And meron sila ngayong promotion or ano tawag dito, parang brand ambassadorship na we can or itong ating mga Filipinos dito sa Middle East can participate at. Ayan, no? So tinan mo, they can win 500 dirhams na carry for groceries. And pwede rin silang manalo ng 3-month visa extension if you become the #1 ambassador for the month. So pwede ito kahit visit visa. And ang kanyang mechanics are here. So I think may maglalagay ng steps dyan sa comment section. Pero if you're here, if you're in the UAE, you can go check gohunter.com and then i-click nyo tong count me in na button. Tapos i-register nyo lang yung details niyo there. And then share the links para tumaas ang inyong ranking. Para mapanalo na ninyo yung 500 dirhams na carry for na grocery. Sayang din yan. Ako rin, magsa-sign up din ako dyan. Siyempre, sayang.
Sayang yan, bro.
Sayang yan. So kahit mga visit visa holders or visit visa can participate dito sa ating, sa kanilang promotion or mga, nasa na yun, ba't di ko maalis? Ayan. So I think nandyan na yun sa baba. Si kay Miss Irene. Ayan. Andyan yung link. Now, going back to our conversation, Tito Darbs, ang ganda ng ating usapan kung bakit mahalaga ang self-worth para sa ating net worth. Now, eto, mga misconceptions about self-worth, Tito Darbs. May gusto sana akong itanong, 'di ba? Kasi more on parang heavily influenced tayo ng relationships. Now, How do we exercise self-worth without losing empathy for others or becoming excessively self-centered? Kasi 'di ba parang napansin ko na may self-love na ako or nadaanan ko na yung SAS. So nasa self-love na ako. Kaya ko na 'tong mag-isa. And baka naman hindi ko na kailangan ibang tao and I can do things on my own. Pero parang may blind spot siya na baka dumating sa point na 'di ba anything na sobra ay masama. So baka maging selfish naman tayo. So paano mo to ma-weigh in or ma-identify or what?
Yeah, basically there's a fine line between self-worth and entitlement. And I think what you're trying to say is the part of entitlement. Like I always say this to my Facebook Live, what's the difference? Self-worth is that when someone cuts off in your line, you're not gonna allow them because you know you deserve to be there kasi pumila ka. Entitlement is when you think you have to be first in the line kahit hindi ka pumila. So there's a fine line between that, and I hope everybody understands. Now, self-love, selfish to be selfless. At the end of the day, kahit nga wala kang self-worth, you can still be selfish. So I think that's the value that most people has to cultivate themselves first. And that most of the time, I always push people to be selfish first. Why? Because there's a way for you to give more sustainably. Kasi may mga taong nagbibigay kahit wala sila. They might be able to give something, but they cannot sustain in giving. Kasi mauubos at mauubos sila. What I'm trying to say about the phrase selfish before selfless, you have to be selfish first before you can be selfless, is you cannot give what you don't have. Hindi mo kayang ibigay yung bagay na wala ka. So, dapat mo munang punan yung mga pagkukulang mo sa sarili mo, yung mga bagay na, how can you help and give money if you don't have money yourself? Basic math. And there is a chance, yes, as what you have mentioned, na may mga taong talagang super nagiging selfish. And even if people doesn't have that self-worth, they are also selfish. So, this is basically totally depends on your morality, totally depends on how you see things, in that it's a moral compass that you have to navigate yourself. Kasi may mga pagkakataon na minsan I could just tell you these steps, like this. But at the end of the day, if you really don't believe that, and that if you just try to memorize it and you don't put it here, I mean, that's gonna be useless.
So bagay, oo nga. Ganda nung sinabi mo about fine line between self-love, self-worth, and entitlement. Kasi nga, I mean, nabasa ko nga tong quote na to sa libro ni Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I wanna share this to you, bro. And know your insight na rin. Sinabi niya dito na independent people can get what they want through their own effort. So normally, ang taong may self-love becomes independent. Would you agree with that?
Of course.
Okay, and then ito naman, sinabi niya rin dito, pero interdependent people combine their own efforts with the efforts of others to achieve their greatest success.
Yes, sir.
And
of course.
Dito ko na nakita yung collaboration And yung value ng collaboration, meaning na hindi lang enough na maging independent ang isang tao, or hindi lang enough na maging self-aware siya or magkaroon siya ng self-love, but also he has to share this with other people. So in your sa yung perspective, bro, would you agree with the quote na we have to be interdependent, not just become independent when we have self-love or self-worth?
Of course. I mean, Rome was not built by one person. It was a collective action of many individuals. Amazon was not built just by Jeff Bezos. It was with the collective action of talented people. Apple, the most valued country in the world, the most valued company in the world, was not just built by Steve Jobs, but it was built with talents. Kasi Steve Jobs is just a visionary, but he needs people to execute his visions. So, yes, you're right. You may be able to get things done on your own if you have the skill, but if you're capable of being able to work with people, kasi ako, I'll choose EQ over IQ. this is what we're trying to say as well. Na IQ, I know everything and I can execute since I know it. Pero I would still choose EQ any day because you will not be able to work with people if you're just the smart ass telling everybody that they're stupid and you're smart. I'd want to be that person who's able to navigate each and everyone's emotion, have the self-awareness of knowing how to find someone's strength and weaknesses. At you'll be the chef. I mean, you let people work based on their strength. And I totally agree with this because you can ultimately do way more things better. Interdependent people. And you have to be interdependent with people in order for you to achieve great things. You can achieve good thing if you're going to do it alone.
Yeah.
But you can achieve great things if you do it with people. Real talk, Darbs. Perfect example. I was not here just because I was the only one doing it first. I was with a group before, and because of that interdependent people, I was able to develop a skill. And I will not be able to put my brand to the next level if I still continue to work alone. Most people don't know I have a team behind me, backing me up. Passionate people. Shout out RTD crew. Jay, you have been part of it as well.
Yes.
And that I was not been able to be on a specific level where I want to be if it was just only me. I am surrounded, and I continually surround myself with people who knows that they're capable of be on the mission with me, which is spreading self-worth.
Yon. And I'm glad that you are in the same mindset. Like, katulad nung mga iba ko rin kakilala na very into collaboration, interdependence, and sharing one's strength to other people. Now, since relationship is very important sa ating self-worth journey, nakita ko sa'yo ko nakita itong linya na to eh. Masasaktan pero di madudurog. Pero, Tito Darbs, di ba? It's easier said than done. So, how do we apply that? Di ba? Parang, paano yun, nasaktan ka tapos di ka matudurog pero iba eh. Iba pag nandun ka na eh. Paano ba to?
Well, first of all, easier said than done. But it doesn't mean it's wrong. Hindi ko napakadaling sabihin. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. I mean, simplicity doesn't mean it's easy. It's just that it's simple, very, very difficult to execute. Yes, if you have that sense of self-worth, SAS, if you're able to apply that, if you know what you bring to the table, you're not afraid to eat alone. If someone cheated on you, if someone gives you things or treats you the way you're not supposed to be treated, if someone told you the things that you're not supposed to hear from a person that you love, in that the relationship didn't work as planned, you're not gonna get crushed. Why? Because you still know your value. Alam mo kahit papano that you're still capable of attracting people better than the individual who is in front of you right now. And that, my friend, gives you hope. Gives you something to look forward to. Because part of the reason bakit ang mga tao, pag nasasaktan ng taong mahal nila, ay durog na durog sila, is because they already given everything. That's one thing. Number two is that they think that there's no other way around this pain. And that this is the best feeling that they can ever find with someone else. Because sa tingin nila, their value is parang chumamba lang sila sa taong kaharap nila. You get what I'm saying? Ang swerte ko sa taong na to at sinaktan ako ng taong to. Then this, like, you get what I'm trying to say. If you don't have a capacity to buy a Lamborghini and then you crash the Lamborghini, that's gonna hurt, brother. But if you have the capacity to buy 50 Lamborghinis because you have so much value, you might be able to crash the Lamborghini. I'm not saying hindi ka masasaktan, pero you're not gonna get hurt. You're not gonna get crushed because that's not the only Lamborghini in the freaking world that you can afford. Masasaktan ka lang pero hindi ka
madudurog. Grabe, iba 'yon. Iba, napaka-quotable quote na itong linya na to talaga. Parang ang lagi sinasabi nga sa mga ganyan is if you are this kind of person na buo na and then you meet someone na buo na rin, 'di ba? Eventually mas lalaki kayo eh. You don't feel the gaps, the spaces in between. So, like what you said, masasaktan ka. Hindi mo nga naman talaga maiwasang masaktan by other people kasi nga Hindi mo naman kontrolado actions nila. Pero yung part na madudurog ka can never happen, or kasi nga, you know for a fact na alam yung value mo. And you've built that. Na-build mo na yung self-worth muscle mo because of the experiences and the things that you've done for yourself and for other people.
For sure.
Grabe, oo. Yun eh. And shoutout muna tayo dito sa ating comment section. Ang dami na pala naglagay ng ano. So, kay Miss Betty Bros, ayan, shoutout sa'yo dyan. Oo nga, no? RTD fam. Batch 1, RTDVA Batch 1 kami niyan.
Batch 1 kayo, dalawa.
Ang laki na rin ng ginrow ng kanyang brand after that, after that first batch. Grabe. Wala bang reunion yun?
meron tayong town hall, clan meeting next month.
Next month.
This is for us to parang kumbaga have a monthly meeting. 120 na kayo, bro, na nag-graduate sa Vlogging Academy.
Grabe yun. Gusto kong bumalik
Oo. For sure. Kasi meron tayong mga challenges, may mga prizes din, at meron din tayong sense of accountability, body system. So, meron tayong ganun.
Mamaya natin yan. Announce natin si RTTVA Batch 10. Batch 10 ka na, grabe. Parang 8 months pa lang tayo, no? 9 months. Pero ang dami mo nang nagawang na batch. So, ito naman, since more on nasa personal finance ang aking brand. Sa tingin mo ba, ang self-worth ng isang tao can be affected by their personal net worth? Or is it the other way around?
Of course. I mean, inner game muna eh.
Okay.
Like self-worth, you being able to know your worth basically allows you to have better deals, better execution, better mindset for you to have better net worth. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that you can never be you can never perform the optimum way if you don't have sense of self-worth. Kasi people that are driven, people who knows what they want, these guys know and has high sense of self-worth because they know what they want to do. And specifically in love and in finance, you can totally connect din naman eh. Kasi you will not be able to create or make sound decisions when it comes into your finances. Ilang beses na, Rafi Tulfo in action, di ba? Binibigay yung mga bagay na dapat hindi nila binibigay. Right? Invest on things that they got scammed on by the partners. So, totally relatable in a sense that you will not make those kind of mistakes if you just have self-worth, my friend, since day one.
Self-worth talaga maging fuel mo, no? And it would, yung net worth mo would be just the byproduct of how you view yourself. And pinakita mo yun eh, kasi over this last few months, parang naalala ko, it's still clear sa akin na sinabi mo sa akin magre-resign ka. And iwan ko tong trabaho na to, na malaki yung sweldo. Pero gusto ko talaga tong vlogging and like what you said sa una nating episode, parang if you wanna do something stupid, you have to be smart, diba? Parang yun eh. yun eh. And napatunayan mo siya eh. Dahil nung nirecord natin yung una nating guesting, parang kakastart pala nung RTDVA Batch 1. And up until now, after wala pa tayong 1 year mula nung first episode natin. And grabe na nag-multiply na yung, di ko masabing net worth mo eh, but rather yung value na nabigay mo sa mga tao, yung following mo. I think nasa 400 or 500k pa lang nung time na yun eh. And nung kakastart itong year na to, dun mo na reach yung 1M. So grabe, ang dami mong naging accomplishments mula nung time na nag full time ka sa vlogging. Pero gusto kong bumalik dito sa question natin na to, na in your life, brother, no, na experience mo naman maging financially stressed, I'm sure. And has it ever affected your self-worth during that time?
Oo naman. Like, you will not know. Alam mo yung feeling, you know when you're trying to thread a thin line, parang nagko-cross ka into buildings tapos may thread lang. Mas iba ang feeling na tumatawid doon na wala kang safety net sa baba versus meron.
Yeah.
You might fall pero you know someone's gonna catch you versus when you're gonna fall, you're gonna crash, you're gonna die. So that's same as true with finances eh. Kung sakaling magkaroon ka man ng mga emergencies, you know that you're not gonna crash kasi meron ka mga finances na tinago. Pero if you're living like wala ka talagang ni piso sa bangko, You get what I'm saying? Like, I've experienced that, brother. Like, zero. Like, if you experience the feeling na 50 pesos na lang talaga yung, 50 dirhams or 50 pesos na lang yung pera mo sa pocket mo, yun na lang, wala ka nang huhuguting iba. Yung galaw mo iba, I'm telling you.
Oo nga.
Like, the way how you see things, the way how you go and interact with people, you're too protective of yourself eh. Kasi you might not know, hindi mo alam, baka makabasag ka dyan, wala kang pambayad. Or baka mapunta ka sa isang malayong lugar, hindi ka na makabalik kasi wala ka ng pamasahe.
Yeah.
Pero, at the end of the day, those kind of experiences is what makes a better man. It makes your character. How you navigate through that. Kasi kung hindi ka magkakaroon ng ganong klaseng situation, you're not gonna be able to understand how important it is to have your finances straight. And you will appreciate those times. Kasi those will be the times that you will be happy and be proud of yourself that there was a specific time na iniinda ko na bumili ako ng biryani. Yes, exactly. And that's still special for me up until this very moment kasi I was in that situation before and I know how it feels like. And if you know how it feels like, you will become an empath to people who is also in that kind of situation. So that builds character.
Yeah.
Pero definitely going back to the question, have I encountered being financially stressed? Of course. And it did actually affect my self-worth, how I deal with people, how I navigate through life. Pero I still am thankful with that situation because it made me who I am right now.
Okay. Parang nagkaroon ka ng clarity na, shucks, ayoko na mangyari to sa akin. Na nandito na ako, I have my back against the wall and kailangan ko nang gumawa ng paraan. And kung ano man yung naging ginawa mo noon, I think it helped you a lot para magkaroon ka ng clarity sa actions mo. Kasi nga, you've been through that worst scenario. And teka lang, may nag-comment dito kanina na nasa to si Dennis. How can you establish self-worth? How to start for those who would like? So, Dennis, na-discuss namin siya kanina. So you might, you can watch this mamayang replay and also available din to sa podcast ko by Thursday. So wag ka magalala. Malalaman mong sagot ni Tito Darbs at yun yung impromptu niya na pag-share ng kanyang slides. Grabe yun, yung SAS. Yan ang key takeaway ko siguro today.
Yes.
So kanina bro, ayun, so let's say a person who values himself definitely values his money na rin. Now, as a person who values self-worth or value himself, so great. How does that kind of person spend his money?
How do people with self-worth spend their money? They spend it carefully.
Do you just spend things based on what you want? Yun lang ang ano mo? And on your purpose or what?
Like, there's nothing wrong, to be honest with you, from time to time to reward yourself. Kasi most of the time, people just like, they try to, what do you call this? Demonize buying things that they don't need. I'm not trying to say that you're supposed to do that every single month, every single day, because that's stupid. Pero if there was a specific time where you felt as if you deserve that, and it's not always, I mean, go ahead, treat yourself. That's also a way for you to cultivate your self-worth. Kung kaya mo ngang ibigay yung pera na yun sa ibang tao, I mean, why can't you give it to yourself? Diba? Meron at meron ka ngang mahuhugot na pera pag yung taong mahal mo yung nangangailangan. So, how much more if you yourself, as an individual, would need that money for yourself? Okay, fine. It might be through pleasure. And I'm not saying that it's bad, and I'm not saying that it's good. Pero from time to time, at least somehow have chance to reward yourself. But be smart about it din. People spend their money, people with self-worth spend their money wisely. Kasi, of course, if you know na pinaghirapan mo to, I mean, you're not just gonna spend this easily, right? People with self-worth spend their money wisely, and that somehow this gives them an opportunity to get the things that they want in the future. Hindi ko alam ano yung sinasabi ko, to be honest. It gives them things, it allows them to get the things that they want in the future. Kasi nga, at the end of the day, pag may self-worth ka bilang isang tao, you tend to be focused on the things that you want.
Mm-hmm.
That self-worth is fuel for you to
Okay.
achieve greater things. Kasi kung hindi mo talaga gusto yung mga I mean, people with drive, people with passion, people who achieve things that most people think that they can't,
Mm-hmm.
it's because they have high sense of self-worth that even if people don't believe in them, they believed in themselves. And that's the purest form of self-worth. And most people don't understand that self-worth should be based inward going out.
Yeah.
Dapat yung self-worth sa'yo mismo nang gagaling at it resonates outwards. Kasi most
Mm-hmm.
people base their self-worth based on what people will tell them.
Yes.
Ang galing mo, super talented ka, and that somehow ang ganda mo, or those kind of things, those compliments. And those compliments, they use those compliments to build on their self-worth. Most people are like that. And that's very dangerous because there will come a time, my friend, where people will not say good things about you. And when
Mm-hmm.
that happens, you're at a great vulnerability. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
you're just like an engine who doesn't have fuel. And that fuel that gives you self-worth for you to run is not found anywhere. You're not going to go anywhere. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're a self-sustaining engine, that you are giving yourself the fuel that you need, that self-worth, that despite whatever people around me is telling me that I'm not good, that what I'm trying to do is stupid, that somehow I'm not as good as what I think I am, doesn't matter, because you know to yourself deep inside your core, it's just a matter of time that you're gonna prove this people wrong.
Yeah, and agree ako dun sinabi mo kanina, bro. Like what Sheila said here in the comment section, no? People with self-worth spend their money wisely. Kasi mayroon akong quote from a favorite, one of my favorite personal finance personality na si Dave Ramsey. No? Sabi niya nga doon, people buy things with money they don't need. People buy things they don't need with money they don't have to impress the people they don't even like. And narinig ko rin siya sa'yo before. Now, a person who has self-worth will only buy the things na nag-a-add ng value talaga sa kanya. Hindi yung ini-impose ng kaibigan niya, ng office mate niya, ng family members niya. And kasi in the end, kahit bilin mo ng bilin yan, kung hindi yan talaga nagpapasaya sa'yo, then nagsasayang ka lang talaga ng money. And I've seen you use your earnings to invest more in your business, in your brand. And I think that's the right way of using money. And the more you do that, the more na mas marami ka rin natutulungan. And, di ba? If not for the money that you're earning, hindi mo rin mapupursue tong advocacy mo about self-worth.
Yes,
so, grabe. Money and self-worth are really in line. So, brother, kanina, ito, just some of the few questions before tayo matapos, bro. Kanina na-mention mo yung word na measure, yung pag-measure ng self-worth. Pero since we're talking about net worth and the finances here, so it's about the numbers. Is there really a figure that you can give for your self-worth to measure it? Like, is it the amount of money, the number of followers, the number of views? Is there? Or how do you really measure self-worth?
That's a very tricky question, brother. Is there a figure? Of course, there's no figure. I mean, there's no you can never quantify feelings at the end of the day. You cannot turn that into numbers because it's subjective. It could be way different. Pero to answer your question, can you measure your self-worth? Yes, but not on the sense na through numbers. But since this self-worth is based on feelings, on emotions, I mean, it could also be measured by your own emotions as well. Ako I really believe that I have a very strong sense of self-worth to a fault. Which is not very healthy, that it's very strong. Pero I want everybody to understand that there will come a time na talagang zero yung self-worth mo. And you will know that. Alam mo kasi may mga taong alam nila na dapat wala sila sa ganyang klaseng sitwasyon Alam nila na dapat hindi sila niloloko, alam nila na dapat hindi sila sa relasyon na yan. But they're too helpless to do something about it. They know. But the problem is they're not capable of acting into it. So knowing is just the first part of the process. Doing something about it is what resolves it. What are you gonna do about it? If you know that you've been cheated on, if you know that you're not getting the things that you don't deserve, you're not getting the salary that you're supposed to be getting, or that somehow the friend of yours is not the friend that you're supposed to be surrounding yourself with. Most people know it. There's a lot of people who knows things, but very few people executes. Execution. This is my this is my I want to show you this. Yeah, this is my
Ano natin yan?
screenshot. Yan.
Yun, no?
Yes, sir. See?
Ideas are shit without execution. It's Gary V.
Always. So knowledge is not power. Executing what you know, that's where the power lies.
Agree. Grabe. Eto, may follow-up si Miss Sheila. Sir Darbs, aware na ang mga tao na niloloko sila, then bakit pa sila nagpapakatang?
Kasi wala silang self-worth. I mean, we go back to the specific question anyway. They
kanina,
don't know their value. Like, they know, but they cannot do something about it because they really don't know what they deserve, and they don't really know what their value is. If you know what you bring to the table, you're not afraid to eat alone. But most people don't know what they bring to the table. That's why they're too scared eating alone.
Yeah.
Don't be most people, my friends.
Grabe. Oo nga. And sabi ni Jason, I wish I learned this at school. Sana nga merong gantong Self-Worth Academy. Baka naman darating yung time.
Let's see.
Si Tito Darbs ang Dean of School of Self-Worth. Maganda yun, ha? School of Self-Worth. Bago yun. Oh, may bago ka ng
Idea.
course. Idea. SOS.
SOS.
Ang ganda. School of Self-Worth. SOS. Kailangan ng tulong. So, bro, maraming salamat for sharing your insights about self-worth and net worth. I'm sure some questions were really kahit ako hindi ko masagot on my own, kaya I really need your help kasi ikaw yung alam ko na very into this topic of self-worth. Now, since eto hindi ko natanong sa ito nung time na una kitang nag-guest since ang aking program is all about personal finance. Actually, more on behavioral finance to. Kaya I invite people na very into more on nandun sa subject ng relationships ng behaviors kasi ang pera natin is mainly based on how we behave. Hindi ito mathematical, guys. Okay? Ang success natin dito is how we behave when we have money and we don't have money. So if we are like what Tito Darbs has said, hindi natin alam yung value natin. Baka we buy things just to to augment or para maging band-aid solution lang. And in the end, you're just wasting money. So as early as possible, alamin mo na yung worth mo so that you don't start wasting money. So Tito Darbs, the final question for this would be, ito lagi ko tinatanong sa mga guests ko how would you like to be remembered in terms of how you used your money? Kasi again, ang aking page is all about purpose-driven finance. And you are a person who I see na living life purposely. So, how do you want to be remembered in terms of how you used your money, bro?
That I gave more than I took. That's it.
Okay.
I mean, that's basically the reason why I'm trying to fulfill the things that I need to fulfill right now. Amass the things that I have to amass, because I'm not going to be capable of giving things if I don't have it in the first place. And if ever people would want to remember me, that real talk Darbs, not just in finances, but on everything, that this person gave more than what he took. I gave value to you. I gave you realizations that you're worth it. I gave you things that you're supposed to know in terms of time, in on those times that you think that you're worthless. I gave you hope. I gave you things that most people are not capable of giving. Even the person that is supposed to be responsible of loving you, you're not able to feel love. And I want you to know and understand that there's always a person, just like Real Talk Darbs, who's willing to give you things, not just on finances, but on other things too. And that is what I want people to remember when it comes to my legacy, in a sense. You know this, Jay, and for those people who has been my student, that the very thing that I teach is giving value to the audience. That's the secret sauce, my friend, and that is what I wanted to be remembered.
Grabe, lalim. Iba talaga si Tito Darbs. Well, ganun talaga ang mga tao na they live in a purpose. I mean, they do things not just for themselves but greatly about for other people as well. So
Yon, si Kuya Jay, medyo nawala si Kuya Jay, ah. Okay ka lang ba
Kuya
dyan,
Jay,
Kuya
oh
Jay?
no, wait lang, nawala si Kuya Jay. Tito Darbs,
Okay
ikaw
na.
munang bahala.
Okay na. Oh, yes. Yes, as sabi ni Jason John, si JJ, the first step of realizing self-worth is accepting the shape of your nose. Yes. Or you could also accept that you can do something about the things that you don't want. Right? Yeah. Inaano ka ba daw ng ilong namin? Sabi ng ilong ni Evelyn. Ibang-iba si RTD. Thank you very much there. Yes, my friends, I hope you guys were able to get a lot of things from this, a lot of values. Kasi there's specific times where we think na specific situations, like the wisdom that we need to like understand and know, hindi sa tingin natin parang we're supposed to be searching for it, pero most of the time it's just there in front of us, and that actually God wants us to hear that. Now, if you're one of those people who's here, the 39 people who's watching, I want you to understand, if ever you're watching here because you think you were able to get finance advice, that's good. But if ever on the other side, you're someone who actually don't have that sense of self-worth somehow, I hope you're able to get something from this Facebook Live that we did from this podcast. Yes, Kuya Jay.
Maraming salamat sa pagsalo ulit, Tito Darbs, for the second time around. And so ngayon, nandito na sa ating closing. And of course, like what we promised sa ating guest, meron tayong raffle time, Tito Darbs. Ito na ang ating raffle time. Salamat sa mga nag-participate. Share natin itong mabilis na natin. Natutunan ko to sa ating kaibigan ng mga taga Singapore, bro. So, para sa ating unang mananalo ng access sa course belt, guys. And Tito Darbs, ano ba yung merch na ibibigay mamaya? Mamaya pakita mo, ha?
Sige. Ano bang merch na ibibigay ko? Ano ba? Depende kung taga saan yung mananalo.
Okay, depende sa kung mananalo. Ito naman ay muna to, free access sa course belt. Course belt is a website where you can access mga courses about digital marketing and other skills na you can use sa panahon ngayon ng pandemic. Alam mo yun, for upskilling yan, guys. So, hopefully manalo kayo. Okay, so sino bang unang mananalo? Okay, sana naman. Ang galing nito, di ba? Si Matt na naman. Grabe, si Matt. Okay, Matt. Pangalawang nanalo siya last week ng access sa course belt. So, yung pangalawa naman, ito yung personal finance advisors na Enrich 365. Ibig sabihin, every day meron sila marireceive na personal finance advice sa kanilang cellphone. So, ito ay only open for Filipinos in the Philippines. So, tingnan natin kung sino mananalo nito.
Yon.
Dapat may sound effect ako. Ito, papaturo ko sa'yo, bro, paano maglagay ng sound effects, ha? Yun, no? Kaya lang si Miss Kring Kring ay nasa Dubai.
Ay, parang may bias yan, ha? May bias. Bias yan, ha?
Dapat na ibang winner kasi nasa Dubai si Miss Kring Kring.
Okay,
pero,
sige.
Definitely nasa puso ko yan, eh. Yun, no? Si Matthew na naman. Huwag ka na, Matthew.
Parang may daya to, ha? Parang mafia to, ha?
Hindi, pag mas maraming comments, more chances of winning.
Ay,
parang
Matthew,
ha?
Parang rig to. May rig to.
Ayan. Si Miss Reyna. Ayan, i-message mo na lang ko sa iyo. Ito na. Ito, mamaya na yung sa'yo. Ito, taga Dubai naman ang pwedeng manalo na ito. Ito yung free relaxing whole body massage courtesy of Feel at Home Beauty Services. Bro, ang kanilang clients si Chris Fade at yung mga ibang influencers. So,
wow, talaga?
Quality yan, men.
Ano pwedeng client si Real Talk Darbs dyan?
Baka naman si RTD. Mag-participate si RTD dito.
Baka naman.
Sayang, Jason. Nasa Pinas ka. Hindi pwedeng virtual massage.
Pwede kang pumunta dito, Jason.
Oo, para sa free massage. Si Matthew na naman na nanalo.
Ano ba yan? Rig ko, reg.
Mamaya ko na nga to. Mamaya na yan. O, ito na lang yung
mamaya na yan.
Mamaya na yan. Ito na lang. RTD merch. Okay. Kahit nasang parte ka ng mundo, pwede ka manalo ng RTD merch. Ayan.
Okay.
Tan. Dapat meron talaga akong sound effects eh. Ayun! Jason Jan! Congratulations sa'yo, brother! Nanalo ba siya kanina? Hindi. Nasa Pinas to. Nasa Pinas.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, sige.
Perfect. Ayan. So, kaya na yan ni si RTD nang bahala sa'yo. Parang dumadami ang mga suking-suki to si Jason dito sa program ko eh. So, feeling ko babalik yan next week.
Ayos yan, ayos.
So, RTD. Sige bro. Ano yan?
Yeah, by the way guys, if ever you guys would want to enhance your content creation journey, Real Talk Darbs is having his 10th batch of RTD Vlogging Academy. So here I'm gonna be able to teach you a lot of things, not just in love life, but a lot of things. Pwede ako mag-share, Jay, no?
Yes, definitely, brother.
Share ko to sa inyo. This is something that I wanna offer you specifically kasi this is ultimately gonna give you a lot of values for sure. Wait lang. Dito, share screen.
Ang swerte talaga ng mga nananalo dito eh. Oh. Feeling ko rigged yung website na yun eh. Hahanap nga ako na ibang website. Eto na siya.
Yan. So there are already 100 content creators graduated. I want you to discover the secret ways of creating content taught by a master practitioner. So, matututunan mo dito yung in-depth personal branding strategy, mental game and vlogging, learning the basic elements of vlogging. Of course, you can discover the secret in creating a viral potential content. Kasi most of the people just knows how to upload content in the internet. But the key the key skill that you have to learn is how to create a content that people will consume. And I would love to think that I'm capable of teaching you that based on my Exhibit A, which is my personal brand. So there will be an early bird promotion for that. It's only 14,997 instead of 25,000. So it's more than almost 40% discount if you avail on the early bird discount. This is only limited slots, my friend. And there's a lot of bonuses then after that. Access to Real Talk Darbs. You will also be belonging to a community of content creators where you can support and help each other. And tulad nga na sinabi ko, I'm building something for people who graduated in RTD Vlogging Academy. So this is something that you would really want it to be a part of. And not to mention the fact that I'm not just really teaching about vlogging. I'm teaching you how to learn how to create content on the things that you love doing, build a monetization structure around it, and ultimately live a life in your own freaking terms. Just like what I did. Ganon.
Grabe.
So,
laking tulong yan. I mean, ako isa ko sa first batch. Eh, tingnan nyo, naging consistent si Kuya Jay mula nung June, bro. Ikaw ang nag-push sa akin na mag-push ng aking personal brand. Kasi nga, although may background na ako before sa vlogging, pero nung nag-sign up ako dito kay Tito Darbs, it gave me the push that I need para at least ma-build ko yung personal brand ko. And look at where we are right now. Ganun pa rin. The joke lang. Pero,
may podcast ka na.
Yung podcast ko is, it's slowly picking up. Nagkakaroon ng traction. Naka-invite ako. Nakita siya, bro, ng isang taga-US. First time ko nagkaroon ng guest sa US. May nag-email sa akin. Nakita yung podcast ko. And yun. I mean, ang laking tulong kasi it also helps me connect with other people are also people na ang dami ko natututunan. Like mga personal finance advisors. All those stuff. And laking bagay na sinimulan ko siya. O, di ba? Sabi si Matt magsa-sign up na yan. Ayos na ayos yan, Matt. So,
sign up ko
congratulations
kayo, my
friend.
Thank you very much.
Tito Darbs, saan ka ba nila makikita uli? Baka may mga bago dyan na hindi alam yung Facebook page.
Same old thing. Real Talk Darbs. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, OnlyFans. Hindi, joke lang. Wala akong
OnlyFans ka na.
Kung gusto niyo pong one-on-one with Real Talk Darbs, there's also that option. you can just go ahead and send me an email at realtalkdarbs@gmail.com. And RTD Vlogging Academy, my friends, March 26, 27, 28 na po. Our early bird is gonna be ending on March 10 na. So please go ahead, take advantage of that offer. Who knows, this will be way higher pricing na next time. So
Yeah.
I'm on the 10th batch. Imagine if you decided to go on the 20th batch, I don't think it will be on the same price. So take advantage of this. I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of ROIs when you enroll RTD Vlogging Academy. Cool stuff?
Yeah. Cool stuff. The more na nagiging busy si Tito Darbs, the more na nagmamahal ang kanyang time. And that's the reason why. Kasi nga, he is full of his self-worth. I mean, yung self-worth niya has totally developed. And that's one thing that we also have to do for ourselves as well. So guys, that wraps our episode for tonight. And I hope you gained so much wisdom from RTD. And sana itong episode natin helped you value yourself even better. Okay? Para ma-improve mo pang yung net worth. If you missed the entire live session, you can listen to this on Pera and Purpose Podcast through Apple, Spotify, or Anchor Podcast. And don't forget to follow Purpose Driven Finance on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Once again, ito ulit si Kuya Jay. Kasama natin si Real Talk Darbs, telling you to prosper with a purpose. Ito na yun, no?
Yes, sir.
See you next week. Maraming salamat. Bye-bye.